Pay close attention because what I'm sharing with you right now completely transformed everything for me. I'm talking about that exact moment when everything suddenly made sense. The moment I stopped being another person, struggling to succeed, and became who I am now. Someone who built multiple ventures from the ground up and turned them into massive successes worth hundreds of millions. And I'm going to reveal the single most powerful principle that made it all happen. If you're genuinely serious about creating wealth, if you're truly done with struggling financially and ready to build something real, then subscribe right now. Because what I'm teaching you today, most people will completely miss. Don't let that be you. Let me take you back to where I started. I wasn't handed wealth on a silver platter. My mother ran a small business and worked relentlessly every single day. She taught me something incredibly valuable. She told me that money operates on its own logic. Money doesn't respond to how exhausted you are or how afraid you feel. Money responds to exactly one thing: discipline. But I didn't truly grasp what she meant until years later. I spent my entire 20s and 30s grinding relentlessly, trying everything, and I made every mistake you can possibly imagine. I trusted the wrong partners. I poured resources into ventures that had zero realistic chance of succeeding. I burned countless hours on projects that felt meaningful but never generated a single cent of actual profit. I was constantly busy, but I definitely wasn't wealthy. I was sitting alone in my office late one evening, staring at my bank statements, and suddenly I realized I had been approaching everything completely wrong. I had been operating under this false belief that if I just worked harder, if I just cared more deeply, the wealth would eventually arrive. That's complete nonsense. That's the story financially struggling people tell themselves to avoid facing reality. The actual truth is that you don't become wealthy through hard work alone. You become wealthy by working intelligently, and working intelligently means understanding the one fundamental rule I'm about to share with you. Here it is. Are you ready? In business, money is the only metric that actually matters. Not your passion, not your aspirations, not how emotionally invested you are. Money. That's the entire rule. Now, before you start commenting angrily, let me break down exactly what this means, because this rule, when you genuinely understand it, will completely revolutionize your life. It will generate more wealth than you ever imagined possible, and it will prevent you from wasting years chasing things that will never generate returns. Most people approach business completely backwards. They begin with their passion. They say, "I've always dreamed of opening a coffee shop," or "I'm passionate about design, so I'll launch a clothing brand." And you know what my response is? Who actually cares? The only question that truly matters is, will it generate profit? Because if it doesn't produce cash flow, it's not a business. It's an expensive pastime. And pastimes don't create wealth, they drain it. I learned this through painful experience. Early in my journey, I pursued projects because they excited me emotionally. And what happened? I hemorrhaged money. I wasted precious time while other people, smarter, strategic people, were out there building genuine wealth. Everything changed when I started asking, where is the profit? Every single decision I make, I ask that question. Should I invest in this opportunity? Where is the profit? Should I dedicate time to this project? Where is the profit? Should I bring this person onto my team? Where is the profit? Most people absolutely cannot handle this rule. They desperately want to believe that if they just follow what feels right, the money will magically appear. And I'm telling you, that's a fantasy. Money doesn't follow your passion. Money follows value creation. Money follows problem solving. Money follows tangible results. And if you want to build real wealth, you must stop thinking about what makes you feel fulfilled and start thinking about what generates revenue. Now I know what you're thinking. Don't you need to enjoy what you do? Sure, enjoying it is wonderful, but that's a bonus. The foundation is always money. You know what I'm genuinely passionate about? Financial freedom, having unlimited options, never worrying about money again. And you know what provides all of that? Money, not your feelings, money. When I launched my first genuinely successful company, I didn't start it because I loved the product. I started it because I identified a clear opportunity to generate profit. I spotted a gap in the marketplace. I saw something people desperately needed and were actively willing to pay for. Did I wake up every single morning thrilled? Not always. Some days were tedious, some days were frustrating, but I did it anyway because I kept my focus on the ultimate goal, building something valuable I could eventually sell. And that's exactly what happened. I sold that company for millions of dollars. This is the fundamental mindset transformation you must make. Stop asking, what do I love? And start asking, what will the market pay for? The marketplace doesn't care about your passion. The marketplace only cares about one thing. Can you solve my problem? Can you deliver real value? If you can, the marketplace will compensate you generously. If you cannot, the marketplace will completely ignore you. When you make money your absolute top priority, something remarkable happens. You start making significantly better choices. You start recognizing opportunities that others completely overlook. You start building ventures that actually function successfully. Let me tell you what I observe constantly. I listen to entrepreneurs present their ventures, people emotionally attached to their product. And when I ask, show me your numbers, what are your actual sales, they hesitate. They say, we're still developing the brand or we're building our customer base. And you know what I say? I'm out. Because if you cannot prove this venture generates actual cash flow, it's worthless to me as an investment. Business isn't about having an innovative idea. Business is about execution, converting that idea into actual revenue. I've witnessed mediocre ideas generate millions because the person understood how to sell. And I've watched brilliant ideas go nowhere because the entrepreneur was too focused on being creative. The marketplace rewards tangible results, not good intentions. Here's what separates winners from losers. When you understand that money is the only thing that matters, you start eliminating all the distractions. You remove everything that doesn't directly contribute to the bottom line. You let go of underperforming team members even if they're friends. You stop spending on things that feel satisfying but don't generate return. You decline opportunities that sound exciting but lack a clear pathway to profit. This is difficult, but this is precisely what creates wealth. I remember building one of my companies. We had a project everyone loved, creative, groundbreaking, but when I examined the numbers, it was clear this project was going to lose money. So I terminated it, shut it down completely. My team was devastated, but I cared about keeping the company operational, about making payroll, about building something genuinely valuable. That's what this rule does. It provides absolute clarity. Does this generate money? Yes or no? If yes, you pursue it. If no, you don't. When you operate by this principle, you eliminate enormous waste from your life. You become efficient, you become intensely focused, and that focus is what builds substantial wealth. Let me ask you directly, are you ready to commit to this? Are you ready to make money your number one priority? Because if you are, your life is about to transform completely, but you must be all in. You cannot do this partially. You must choose. And if you choose wealth, you must be willing to make the sacrifices that accompany it. You're going to have to say no to many things. No to friends who want to socialize when you need to be working. No to family members who don't understand. No to opportunities that lack a genuine business model. And this is where most people fail. They cannot say no. They want to please everyone, and they end up with nothing. Every morning when I wake up, I ask myself one question. Which of these activities will generate money for me? And I prioritize those. Everything else gets eliminated. I don't take meetings that lack a clear financial purpose. I don't invest time in projects that lack a path to revenue. This is precisely why I've achieved success. I protect my time like it's the most valuable resource on earth, because it absolutely is. Let's discuss the people in your life. You need to evaluate them through this same lens. Are they helping you build wealth or holding you back? Because here's the truth. You become like the people you spend time with. If you're surrounded by financially struggling people with limited mindsets, you're going to stay struggling. If you're surrounded by successful people who think about money the way I'm teaching you, you're going to become successful. One of the biggest mistakes people make is confusing activity with actual progress. They're busy all day long, meetings, messages, crises. They feel exhausted. But when I ask, how much money did you generate today? They cannot answer. Being busy doesn't make you wealthy. Generating money makes you wealthy. This is why I'm obsessed with metrics. I track everything. I know precisely how much each business generates. When something isn't functioning, when a product isn't selling, I make a change immediately. I don't wait, I don't hope, I act. In business, hope is not a strategy. Action is a strategy based on data, not feelings. So here's what I want you to do starting immediately. Audit your entire life. Look at your job. Is it paying you what you're worth? Look at your side projects. Are they generating income or just hobbies? Look at how you spend your evenings and weekends. Are you building something or just consuming? If you want to build wealth, the vast majority of your time needs to be focused on activities that generate income. When you fully commit to this rule, when you make money your priority, your life starts changing rapidly. You start seeing opportunities everywhere. You start building momentum that compounds exponentially. One good decision leads to another. One successful project funds the next. And before you know it, you're building genuine wealth. But this only works if you maintain discipline. The temptation to revert is always present. The moment you lose focus, you start sliding backwards. This is why I never stop. Even with all my success, I'm still focused on generating money. I'm still asking, where's the profit? Because the moment you think you've made it and you can relax, that's when someone else takes your position. So let me leave you with this. Money is the only thing that matters in business. Not your passion, not your feelings, not your story. Money. And if you can internalize this rule, if you can allow it to guide every decision you make, you will build wealth. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. But you must commit completely. You must be willing to make the difficult choices. You must be willing to focus on money above everything else until you've built the wealth you want. And I promise you, if you do this, your life will never be the same. Now, if this video helped you, hit that like button right now, leave me a comment and tell me, are you ready to make money your priority? And if you haven't already, subscribe to this channel. I'm building a community of people who understand that building wealth isn't about luck. It's about discipline and focus. So subscribe and let's build wealth together because the world needs more people who understand how money truly works. And now you're one of them.